Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler led Nazi Germany, orchestrating the Holocaust and World War II, resulting in the deaths of millions and a legacy of global devastation. In an ironic twist, Hitler's regime enacted progressive animal welfare laws, banning animal cruelty and hunting for sport. While these laws stood out in Europe at the time, they are overshadowed by the unimaginable atrocities he committed against humanity. Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan is infamous as a ruthless conqueror who caused widespread destruction, death, and fear. His campaigns left millions dead, obliterating entire cities. However, under his rule, the Pax Mongolica brought unprecedented stability to Eurasia. Trade flourished along the Silk Road, connecting distant civilizations. This period of peace enabled cultural exchange, spreading innovations, goods, and ideas that shaped the modern world. Al Capone. Al Capone, one of America's most infamous gangsters, built his empire through bootlegging, bribery, and brutal violence during Prohibition. Yet, during the Great Depression, Capone opened one of Chicago's first soup kitchens, feeding thousands of struggling people. This act of charity provided comfort to the hungry and left a rare positive legacy in an otherwise violent and corrupt life. Pablo Escobar. Pablo Escobar, the Colombian drug lord, controlled a violent cocaine empire that fueled addiction and caused countless deaths worldwide. Yet, he used some of his wealth to help Colombia's poor, building housing, schools, and soccer fields. Many in Medellin's slums saw him as a benefactor, despite his crimes, and his projects improved the lives of thousands living in poverty. Benito Mussolini. Benito Mussolini, the fascist dictator of Italy, aligned with Hitler during World War II and caused widespread suffering with his oppressive regime. Despite his tyranny, Mussolini implemented extensive infrastructure projects in Italy, building roads, railways, and public buildings that modernized the nation and boosted its economy. Some of these developments are still in use today. Attila the Hun. Attila the Hun was a fearsome conqueror whose invasions devastated Europe, leaving destruction and chaos in his wake. Entire cities were left in ruins. Yet Attila united the Hunnic tribes into a powerful empire, challenging the dominance of Rome and reshaping Europe's political landscape. His legacy is one of both destruction and historical significance. Che Guevara, an Argentine revolutionary, was involved in guerrilla warfare and oversaw brutal purges, executions, and oppressive policies in Cuba. His actions polarized opinions worldwide. Yet Guevara played a key role in improving Cuba's literacy rates. His literacy campaign brought education to remote areas, transforming the lives of many rural citizens. Francisco Pizarro. Francisco Pizarro, a Spanish conquistador, led the conquest of the Inca Empire, bringing devastation to its people and culture through violence and exploitation. However, Pizarro's actions indirectly introduced European agriculture, animals, and technologies to South America. This exchange, part of the Columbian Exchange, reshaped the continent, leaving a lasting impact on its societies and economies. Jean Bedel Bokassa. Jean Bedel Bokassa, the self-proclaimed emperor of the Central African Empire, ruled with brutality and corruption, infamously accused of cannibalism and human rights abuses. Yet, Bokassa invested in education, building schools and universities in the Central African Republic. His focus on education helped raise literacy levels, though his achievements are overshadowed by his violent rule. Ivan the Terrible. Ivan the Terrible, Russia's first Tsar, ruled with unparalleled cruelty, conducting mass executions and massacres like the destruction of Novgorod. His paranoia was infamous. Yet, Ivan centralized Russian power, modernized its administration, and expanded its territory. These actions laid the groundwork for the rise of the Russian Empire, securing his place in history despite his terror. Joseph Stalin. Joseph Stalin's reign in the Soviet Union was marked by purges, forced labor camps, and policies that caused mass starvation, leading to millions of deaths. Nevertheless, Stalin's leadership during World War II was critical in defeating Nazi Germany. The Soviet victory at Stalingrad became a turning point in the war, ensuring the eventual collapse of the Axis powers and altering the course of history. King Leopold II. King Leopold II of Belgium oversaw one of history's most brutal colonial regimes in the Congo, exploiting its people and resources and causing millions of deaths. Despite this cruelty, Leopold funded grand public works in Belgium, including parks and iconic architecture. These projects enriched Belgium's cultural heritage, even as their creation was tainted by the horrors of his exploitation abroad. Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong's rule in China led to the deaths of millions through famine, purges, and disastrous policies like the Great Leap Forward. His leadership caused untold suffering. Still, Mao's reforms in literacy and healthcare transformed rural China. Millions gained access to education and basic medical care, creating a foundation for modernization that continues to benefit the country today. Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte's military campaigns brought devastation to Europe, costing millions of lives and destabilizing the continent for years. Despite this, Napoleon introduced the Napoleonic Code, a legal system that emphasized equality before the law and inspired nations worldwide. It abolished feudal privileges and became a foundation for modern legal systems. Nero, the Roman emperor, is infamous for tyranny, extravagance, and cruelty. He persecuted Christians, is blamed for the Great Fire of Rome, and allegedly played while the city burned. Despite this, Nero invested in grand public works, including rebuilding Rome after the fire and constructing an elaborate palace, the Domus Aurea. He also supported arts and culture, commissioning performances and public entertainment for the Roman people. Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda, orchestrated the 9/11 attacks, claiming thousands of lives and redefining global terrorism. His legacy is one of fear and destruction. However, during his years in Sudan, bin Laden funded infrastructure projects, including roads, hospitals, and schools. These contributions helped struggling communities, though they served as a cover for his extremist operations. Pol Pot, leader of the Khmer Rouge, is infamous for orchestrating the Cambodian genocide, which killed millions through forced labor, executions, and starvation. However, Pol Pot's regime improved irrigation systems in Cambodia. While overshadowed by atrocities, these projects helped enhance agricultural production, benefiting future generations despite his disastrous policies. Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler, known for his gruesome punishments, including impaling enemies alive, ruled Wallachia with unmatched cruelty. His reign was a nightmare for his foes. However, Vlad defended his homeland against the Ottoman Empire, preserving its independence. His ruthless tactics, though horrifying, are seen by some as a necessary defense against a larger invading force. Robert Mugabe. Robert Mugabe, the former leader of Zimbabwe, ruled for decades, overseeing economic collapse, human rights abuses, and political violence that devastated the nation. Yet early in his leadership, Mugabe expanded access to education and healthcare for Zimbabwe's black population. Literacy rates soared, and many benefited from improved social services, which had been denied during colonial rule.